Welcome back to 100 Days of 6-Minute Stories. My name is Andrea and we are on day 8. When I was in high school, my twin sister and I used to take the bus home on occasion. And even though we only lived a couple miles from the high school, the bus would often take a route circuitous to our home. So we would go into neighboring hamlets before it came back to our street. Sort of like a big loop. And for some reason, the bus driver that we had at the time, her name was Sue, she and I didn't always see eye to eye. It was always a little bit icy and cool between us. The way I was raised, I would never be rude to an adult and I would always acknowledge her, but you could tell, that we rubbed each other the wrong way sometimes, or it just felt strained when we spoke to each other. But I often just steered clear of her. I didn't sit near her. And one day I was sitting in the back mid row with my friend Dave. So it was a sunny day, and where we live, especially when you're driving through town, there are a lot of trees and a lot of green foliage. A lot of people come up to the Hudson Valley just to see it change. And Dave and I were chatting, we were laughing, we were bantering. And I remember mid-sentence, I was laughing at something I had said, and his head stuck back, and he was making a repeated motion. And I thought he was, pretending that the joke was so funny that he couldn't breathe. To explain, Dave had a rare condition called photosensitive epilepsy. I'm sure you've seen trigger warnings for anything that has flashing lights or bright changing colors. So he actually had that condition and he took medicine for it, so it was rare that anything would ever occur. But on this particular day, the way the sun had hit the back of the leaves as the bus passed by caused a seizure to trigger in his brain. So I'm 14 at this point, but I had started reading neuroscience books when I was 10 because I really was very interested in neuroscience, and I remember reading this section about what to do if someone's having a seizure. I knew that I wanted to be a doctor, I wanted to be an EMT at some point, but seeing my friend sitting next to me have a seizure caused my whole body to freeze. I was screaming for help, I was crying, and I was like, help, like someone help me, someone come now. I screamed so loud for Sue to stop the bus right now. So Dave was a big guy, maybe 3 times my size, and when someone is having a seizure, you need to make sure that their tongue is not in their airway. You need to make sure that they're not hitting their head on anything firm, and he was sitting near the window, so all of this was time sensitive. I remember one of my classmates who was on the football team, I was begging him to come and help me, but everyone was in shock. I was in shock. I couldn't move. So Sue came back to the back of the bus. She stopped the bus and she grabbed my shoulders. I was crying, I was blubbering, and I literally, like, my brain was fritzing, and she said, "Sweetie, I don't know what to do. You clearly know what to do. I need you to stand here and tell me how to help him." So I advised her to lay him on his side, make sure that his tongue wasn't blocking his airway. When he started coming to, I told her, ask him what his favorite color is, just start having him make sure he's staying cognizant. And guys, this was before Google was a thing, so these things were actually in my head. I was thinking about them. All the while I was crying, someone had called 911, and we were able to safely get Dave into the ambulance. And although I was relieved, I felt a little bit like I had failed. I felt like I couldn't maintain composure in a crazy emergency situation. That said, when Sue came back to the bus after making sure he got off and I was still wildly in tears, you know, she gave me a hug and she thanked me and told me that I was a hero that day. Even though I didn't believe her at the time, that shared experience of being able to put our feelings for each other aside in order to maintain and secure the well-being of someone else really, I think, changed both of our relationship. It improved it so much where we were able to see each other with a new level of respect, with an understanding that at the end of the day, we both we're more similar than we wanted to admit, and when it really mattered, when it counted, we were able to come together.